Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince has just arrived in Pakistan, his first visit to the country since he was appointed heir to the throne. These are live pictures from an airbase near Islamabad, where the Saudi Crown Prince's plane has just landed. He's about to get off in just a moment. Hopefully we'll see those live pictures when he does. The Pakistani government has stepped up security ahead of Mohammed bin Salman's arrival. Some social media sites opposed to the visit have been shut down, and gatherings of 5 people or more are banned in areas covered by the special security measures. Pakistan is the first stop of an Asian tour taking in 5 countries, but the Crown Prince's trips to Indonesia and Malaysia have been postponed. He is still due to visit India and China in what is being seen as an attempt to restore his image after the scandal over the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and the ongoing Saudi-led war in Yemen. Now, let's take a closer look at the 3 countries the Saudi Crown Prince is visiting and their human rights record in particular. In Pakistan, Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch say enforced disappearances are widespread and the government is increasingly cracking down on its critics. Mohammed bin Salman then moves to India. In the lead-up to national elections there, Hindu nationalism has led to increased violence. UN experts have called for investigations into extrajudicial killings, while the government recently raided foreign charities and rights groups. And China has been criticized for placing up to 1 million Uyghur Muslims in camps and detaining hundreds of human rights lawyers and activists. Well, let's speak some more about this now to Sami Hamdi, who's editor-in-chief of International Interest, which is a current affairs magazine. He joins us live from Milan. So we're about to see the Saudi Crown Prince arrive in Islamabad. His plane has just landed there. These countries that Mohammed bin Salman is visiting also have a questionable track record when it comes to human rights. China, India, Pakistan, 3 very big powers nonetheless in Asia. What kind of a support do you think he's looking for there, and what might he get from them?
I think we have to ask ourselves first and foremost why Mohammed bin Salman is starting to move his trajectory towards China, towards India, towards Pakistan, when he has been relying so heavily on Donald Trump. We know that he's been offering $110 billion worth of contracts to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been standing with him on the Khashoggi affair. However, I think this visit shows that all is not well in this relationship or this romance that everybody has been painting between Mohammed bin Salman and Donald Trump. Donald Trump deeply resents the OPEC institution, which is technically run by the Saudis and in part by the Russians. And indeed, there is a law being passed now by Congress that is going to allow the US to prosecute OPEC states if they try to play with the price. This is a big thing for Saudi Arabia, which its whole foreign policy is built on oil. It's built on Aramco. It's built on this ability to manhandle countries through its oil. Mohammed bin Salman wants essentially to rebuke Trump, to essentially say, Trump, you can't do this to us. I have other allies. I can go to China. I can go to India. I can go to Pakistan. The reason why I believe that this visit is a reaction and it's not something that Mohammed bin Salman is proactively seeking other investors is because Mohammed bin Salman, the Khashoggi affair is still rife.
Right.
Everybody is still talking about it. It's still affecting his image.
Right.
If you notice, the Indonesia and Malaysia visits have been postponed because he's worried about this backlash that might take place. So why risk this PR? Only if you're desperate. That's why you would do it.
So what kind of support exactly is he looking for from Pakistan, India, China, and in what form will this support come?
He's looking for money. The problem is that with Vision 2030, after the Khashoggi affair and after the European Union last week put Saudi Arabia on a list of nations that have the potential to sponsor terrorism, businesses are not as encouraged to invest in Saudi Arabia or indeed in Vision 2030. Indeed, many businesses are not quite sure if Mohammed bin Salman will be in power in the next 5-10 years as a result of these various PR disasters that have pushed members of the royal family to push King Salman to make some changes to Mohammed bin Salman's rule. He is looking from China, he's looking for money, alternative investment to invest in Vision 2030. Saudi Arabia is in desperate need of diversification. It continues to rely on oil. It is looking for political leverage from Pakistan. It is looking to India in order, India, 1 billion big economy. It is looking to encourage the Indians to come and invest in Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure China will take too kindly to Saudi Arabia, neither will the Indians. Right. But this is a desperate plan by Mohammed bin Salman to salvage whatever he has.
He's about to receive a royal welcome right now in Islamabad, where, as we can see from these live pictures, the Pakistani Prime Minister is waiting for him down the steps of that airplane for him to come down. Lots of dignitaries on hand there. But this trip, this visit is in contrast, I think, to his introductory tour in 2018 when he visited the US, then dined with dignitaries and celebrities like Jeff Bezos. What will it take for him, do you think, to be readmitted into that club, if that's what he's looking for, or is that too little too late, you think?
I think the problem with Mohammed bin Salman is that he can't find some way in which to leverage Trump. It is Trump who is undermining Saudi Arabia and undermining Mohammed bin Salman. It is Trump who came out in front of a rally and said that I told King Salman that he wouldn't last 2 weeks without American support, so he's got to pay. That's what Donald Trump said. Trump has undermined Mohammed bin Salman to such an extent. And the problem for Saudi Arabia is in the past, it was able to use oil prices to leverage Donald Trump. But the problem is because Mohammed bin Salman's position is so weak, he desperately needs Trump to be seen to be publicly supporting him, because he doesn't have popular support or family support or the like. So what Mohammed bin Salman essentially needs to do is to get Trump off his back. He needs to manhandle Trump in the way that the old kings used to do with oil prices. The problem is, however, is that Trump is threatening Mohammed bin Salman on every angle, whether it's the laws on Congress, whether it's threatening him over the Khashoggi affair, that if he doesn't fall in line, then perhaps they might instigate changes within Saudi Arabia. I don't think Mohammed bin Salman, there's anything that Pakistan or China or India can do to restore this particular image. There's nothing that these visits can do. The purpose of these visits is essentially to try to say to Trump, look, Trump, treat me a bit better or I will go to China. But Trump, I don't think, will buy into that. He will tell the Saudis, listen, you fix those oil prices and you fall back in line.
That's very interesting that you talk about the purpose of the visit, because that's what a lot of our viewers are asking. Another question here from another viewer, Sohail, who asks what will be the impact of MBS's visit to Pakistan in particular. Pakistan, of course, a very interesting country, because this is a country that did not want to be directly involved in the Saudi-led war in Yemen. We continue to watch the live pictures of the Pakistani Prime Minister waiting for Mohammed bin Salman, who finally the door of the airplane has opened, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is about to come out as the Pakistani Prime Minister continues to wait for him. So, Sami Hamdi, what can a country like Pakistan then hope to get out of Mohammed bin Salman's visit?
I think it's not necessarily just what Pakistan can get out of Saudi Arabia, but what can Pakistan maintain with Saudi Arabia. Let's remember there are many Pakistani citizens living in Saudi Arabia. There are many Pakistani citizens who are there who rely on Saudi government to look after them. Imran Khan is unlikely to irk a Saudi king when so many Pakistani citizens are living in Saudi Arabia. This is about maintaining relations. Let's remember that the armies of Pakistan and Saudi Arabia share extensive links with one another. The Pakistanis essentially train much of the Saudi army. They share intelligence on different areas in the region. Also, let's remember that they have historic ties. Imran Khan may have his issues with Mohammed bin Salman. Indeed, the Pakistani people might have their problems. But if you're the Prime Minister of Pakistan, you don't want to make life difficult for the thousands of Pakistanis who are living in Saudi Arabia.
They've exchanged a very warm embrace there as the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia finally came down the stairs of his airplane, which landed just a few minutes ago near Islamabad. It's 8:10 p.m. in Islamabad, 15:10 GMT. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince on his first Asian tour, which has taken him to Islamabad first, as we can see on those live pictures. He's also due to travel to India and China as well. We've been talking about what the Saudi Crown Prince is looking to achieve with this first visit to Asia as the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, especially at a time when he's been somewhat shunned by his Western allies in the wake of the Jamal Khashoggi murder and, of course, the Saudi-led war in Yemen, which has been criticized in the US by the US Congress and a number of European countries. Live pictures again of the Saudi Crown Prince arriving in Islamabad, where he's been greeted by the Prime Minister, Imran Khan. One last question, Sami Hamdi, before we let you go. And thank you so much for being with us for this live event as it happens here. We talked about what the Saudi Crown Prince hopes to achieve. We talked about what Asian countries hope to get. How worried would the US be about this, what is perceived to be a pivot to Asia? And is it a pivot to Asia by the Saudi Crown Prince?
I think the US, we have to separate them between Congress, Donald Trump, and perhaps the Pentagon. I think the Pentagon believe that they need to keep very good relations with Saudi Arabia. It's one of the main driving forces why they have protected Mohammed bin Salman in the Khashoggi affair, him and the Pentagon and Donald Trump, because they believe that Iran is the threat. And indeed, they believe that this Warsaw conference that took place, whereby all of the Arab nations, they sat with some Israeli counterparts, they believe that's a big step forward in terms of moving the attention away from Israel to the Iranians. Saudi Arabia is very important on that particular front. Congress, however, believe that Mohammed bin Salman has made their relations with Saudi Arabia untenable. They cannot simply ignore this Khashoggi affair, which has blown up so much, all the war in Yemen, and Saudi Arabia, for all of the reforms that it claims that it's going to put forward, is committing just as many transgressions against human rights, and imprisoning activists, imprisoning the likes of Suleiman al-Dawish, Abdulaziz al-Tarifi, and these other various religious scholars. So I think with regards to the US, when they look at Saudi Arabia, they will see a feeble attempt to switch towards the east, because I don't think China or the Russians truly believe that Saudi Arabia is keen on moving towards the eastern side of things. They are seeing that the Arab states, whether it's UAE, Qatar or Saudi Arabia, they believe heavily in Washington. They continue to expand military bases, to spend their money on Washington, desperately trying to appease Washington. And I think this, the Russians and the Chinese, unless they see billions starting to be spent either on Patriot missiles being bought from the Russians, either billions being spent within China or Beijing, until Saudis put their money where their mouth is with regards to China and the Russians, they will never believe them. Moreover, the Chinese and the Russians have good relations with the Iranians. They're not going to sacrifice that relationship for the sake of Saudi Arabia, which is not sure if it even wants to leave the US. This is just Saudi Arabia, a vassal state of the US, which is upset at the way Trump is treating and is trying to protest against the way Trump talks about it. This is how Trump views Saudi Arabia, and I don't think he's going to take it very seriously.
Very interesting to talk to you about this. Thank you so much for your insight. Sami Hamdi of the International Interest magazine joining us there from Milan. Thank you.